My name is Chanel and I work at the Biosocial Interplay and Development Lab at Texas Tech. I'm a human development and family sciences researcher, and I'm going to be talking about my research, which involves me interpreting the domain relevance within the intergenerational transmission of achievement. When I talk about intergenerational transmission of achievement, I'm basically talking about the educational achievement of parents being transmitted to their children. We know that this occurs because there has been plenty of research supporting this idea. However, I seek to further understand how this is happening, how that transmission is happening. Is this happening in a domain specific manner, which means our parents that succeed in math having children that succeed in math? Or is this happening in a domain general manner where parents that exceed in math have children that exceed in reading or math? So whenever I thought about this subject and this question, I wondered, what made this important? Why does this even matter? And I figured it'd matter because there's always going to be a generation after us, and we always want to leave that generation better off than how we started. So if we can find a way to help children or even like later generations later on have better science grades, math grades, reading grades, and maybe we can even tailor those children to be better scientists, lawyers, authors, writers, and etc. So, maybe if you want a child that is going to become an author, then you should focus on ELA and reading subjects in your daily life. And on the contrary, if you want a child that's like this amazing doctor, you should be focusing on math and statistics and science subjects in your daily life as well. So when I thought about this subject again, I wanted to hypothesize what I thought would be the correlations that I would see in this research. So I hypothesized that, there would be a positive correlation between parental achievement and child achievement in a domain specific manner, which means I thought this transmission was going to be within the same subject. To further explain or to give an example, it would be like a parent that is good at math would have a child that is good at math, or a parent that is good at reading will have a child that is good at reading. I also hypothesized that there wouldn't be any correlation or any significant correlation between in a domain general manner, which means I didn't think that parents that are good at math would necessarily have a child that was good at reading. And I thought this because it's kind of hard for a parent to provide support in a subject that they aren't good at. And so when I went to go test this subject or this question, I got the data from 170 familial pairs, which is comprised of one parent and a child from fourth to sixth grade. To measure their reading and math achievement, we gave them standardized testing via the Woodcock-Johnson test of achievement. Children took 3 math tests and 1 reading test, while parents took 1 math test and 1 reading test, and we compared this using structural equation modeling. Additionally, when parents came in to get standardized testing, they also reported our control variables, which include the child sex, the child grade level, and parent education. So looking at my figure in the middle of the screen, you see that there are green texts and there are solid lines, which mean that there was significant statistical correlations between the test variables that they're leading to. So as you see, parent math is positively associated with child applied problem, child calculation, and child number matrices, which is the math standardized test that we gave the children. And as you can also see, parent math had a negative association with child reading as signified by the red or the dotted lines. And if you look closely at the diagram, you can see all the positive and negative associations were pretty much reversed for parent reading and child achievement with math and reading. So looking at my results, I found that child sex and child grade level did not have a significant correlation to any of the child achievement subjects. And contrastingly, parent education had significant correlation to all the subjects of child achievement, which kind of supports previous research that has been done and adds merits to my findings later on. Continuing, that there were positive associations between parental achievement in each domain specifically. So parent math was positively associated with child math achievement as well. And parent reading achievement was positively associated with child reading. So these findings supported a domain-specific hypothesis, but actually do not support the domain general hypothesis, which kind of reaffirms what I hypothesized at the beginning of my study. In conclusion, we now see, or we now support the idea that if this is going, that transmission is going to be domain specific. It's going to happen between specific subjects. Therefore, if you want your child to be better at math or an engineer, then maybe you should focus on math subjects or math careers in your own life. Hopefully this research project was informational. Hopefully we created more insight with that. But I also do think that we should be elaborating or thinking about, domain general and how or why it doesn't apply or how we can make it apply in a better way. How can we find significant correlations between domain general hypothesis? How can we see, or how can we tailor a parent to be able to support a child in reading even though it might not be their strongest subject? That's what I would further like to research later on with my in my college career. But hopefully this was informational, and I thank you for listening